Welcome back to episode 3 of Oko Did Nothing Wrong. You're joined today by me again, Mason. I'm finally back from my trip. I'm joined here today by...
I'll open up my chip
Mort,
bag
it is
first.
me.
I swear to God.
And this fucker opening his bag is Austin.
Hi, it's Austin.
I is Zach.
And the guy laughing his ass off is Chandler.
And we are the Degenerates.
Yes, we are.
Okay, so a couple things we want to talk to you about today.
Pick up the bag.
Pick up the bag.
Okay, deal with this real quick. Fucking shit.
Grab a chip, actually.
Fucking
Chip
Pause to recording.
Chip
Hold on.
ASMR.
No more eating on the pod.
No, it's Chip ASMR. It's so good.
Fuck you!
Give me the bag.
No!
It's my bag.
No, give me the bag.
I'll pour that. I want to listen to that Chip ASMR later. Thanks, Mason.
Your own ASMR.
All right.
You missed it. I went up right there and went,
Please edit all of that out.
please edit all of that in.
All right.
That requires no editing.
So we have some big news today.
Or medium news, depending on your format.
Shut up.
Fake news.
Relatively.
It means nothing to me.
So on
Me
July... Can I talk?
No.
In theory.
You can talk. You'll just have to talk over us.
All right. So on July 13th, there was a new banned and restricted announcement for the following formats: Historic, Pioneer, Modern, and Pauper. And there's been a bunch of radical changes to most. To start off with, we have an Historic. Agent of Treachery went from suspended to banned. Winota went from suspended to banned. Fire's Invention went from suspended to banned. Nexus of Fate is banned, just straight banned. And then Burning Tree Emissary is now suspended.
So, what actually is suspended? What's the difference?
So suspended is a state that the card can be in. It's pretty much banned, but it's not quite banned. So there's a chance they could come back off or not. Banned means they're not thinking about pulling it off for a while.
Friend zone. Friend zone.
Yeah, it's been lost to the friend zone.
So you can't play suspended cards, or you can?
You cannot. They are not legal in the format.
So they're banned.
So they're banned.
Pretty much, yes. I don't quite fully understand it. I don't play a lot of Historic. I have a bunch of friends who do. Not in this group, obviously.
I hope.
No.
Hey, Robert, do you play Historic?
Fuck historic, man.
You
Play
play
modern.
historic, Zach?
Only modern and commander.
We know that that's not a Highlander format. Why are you asking the question?
Hey, Chandler, do you play Historic?
What's that?
All right, so the big one, so obviously Agent Treachery, Winota, Fire's Invention, Nexus, those are all cards that we were pretty sure needed to be banned. They've been problematic in their lies in Standard and Pioneer, so there was no reason that they wouldn't be banned here. But Burning Tree Emissary is a big one. Does anyone know what Burning Tree Emissary does?
Yeah, you play Gruul, enters, get Gruul, and it's a 2/2.
Sure. So
Yeah.
that's close. So what Burning Tree Emissary is, it's a human shaman creature that's a 2/2, and you can either play hybrid Garul, and when it enters the battlefield, you make Garul. So it was originally printed back in, was it Guilds of Ravnica? No. Gatecrash was when it was first printed.
Speak up, Mason. God, I can't hear you.
So anyway, so this card leads to a lot of like chaining and different things. So it's a very problematic card. It's had some problems in things like Pauper and a couple other formats. So this card has been known to deal problems. So it's not a big surprise that it's doing anything here. Another big topic though is the unbanning of Oath of Nissa and Pioneer. That's a big deal. So this card was initially banned because of the Ascendancy deck that was running around. That was one of the main decks that played it, and then a couple other decks it saw a ton of play in. So does anyone had any experience here at the table with Pioneer?
No. I built a deck and no one wants to play.
I built a deck and they ban everything, so I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
Well, they were starting out a new format. They were trying to figure.
They banned Field of the Dead. I don't care.
That card's stupid overpowered. We taled about it in the first podcast.
Is it
And I built
Highlander?
a deck around it, and they banned it, so I don't care.
It could be.
So anyway, Oath of Nissa has been very problematic since the start of Pioneer, and it's very, very interesting to see that card come off the ban list.
Now you have all these combo decks in there that are just faster than mono green stomping decks.
Well, it wasn't mono. It was combo decks playing the card
Yeah, okay, yeah. So you can get a creature or planeswalker.
or a land
Or a land.
Orlando.
for top 3 for 1 mana.
Yeah, that's fine.
It does a lot.
That's a lot.
It does do a lot, and it also makes your planeswalkers cost generic. Well, not generic, but any other color.
And you can spend mana as or any color to cast
Yeah.
Planeswalkers.
Yeah.
So they're saying though that they can feel like they can unban Oath to Nissa because cards like Once Upon a Time, Bale of Summer, and Oko are now gone. So since they have less of these very powerful green cards to play alongside this card, that it's okay for this card to see play. So we'll definitely keep an eye out and see how the card does in the format. But I fear it's still going to be too powerful from the format. Now, for the big one in Modern, Arcum's Astrolabe finally got banned. We heard it here first.
It did nothing wrong.
We called it. We said it needed to go. Wizards listened to us, and it is now gone.
Only us.
We are the reason it's gone.
No
You
one
can
else.
quote us.
Well, actually, it's only Mason.
Yeah. I'd rather have Urza
You
gone
can
and
quote Mason.
like an Uro gone, the high-end cards which are causing problems.
You want Uragon?
Yeah, I
Mr.
do.
Sultai midrange?
Yeah, even Mr. Sultai midrange wants Uro gone. And once I heard it wasn't
Mid-range
gone.
just controlled.
The reason he wants Uragon is so he can buy Uro when it's cheap.
That's what I'm doing.
That's the actual reason he wants it gone.
So
Don't let him fool you.
A couple of points that they pointed out when they were talking about banning it. One of the big things they said is that multicolor decks using Arcum's Astrolabe with some variants were approaching a 55% non-mirror win rate. So that means against the non-mirror decks, they were winning 55% of the time in Modern, which is not a number you want to see.
Okay, so counterpoint, why don't we just print better cards for those decks?
There's a thing that happens.
So you want to continue to break the format instead of balancing it out.
If everything's broken, everything's
Turning
fair.
it into Legacy.
So we're turning it into Yu-Gi-Oh!
Oh, wait a minute.
Wait, no,
That
that's
is
all.
exactly what you just
That's
said.
exactly what you just fucking said, right?
Yeah,
That's
but
actually
remember,
what you just
Yu-Gi-Oh!
said.
is cheap to get into. Magic is not.
No, it's not.
No,
Who here has played Yu-Gi-Oh competitively?
I have.
Competitively.
I have.
When?
Back in what is the stupid, not the Utopia deck. It was when Exceeds first came out, and it was like the little cutesy monsters were the top deck.
Madolce.
I still have my deck. I still have that deck.
You showed me
The
that
deck was
once.
disgusting. And
I
I played
only,
against it.
I
and
only
got
know it
destroyed.
because my brother
I
picks
was
cute
playing a
things
stupid,
to play. And those are the
Blue
cutest
Eyes,
things.
The Blue Eyes
in
is
the
Wool
game,
deck. I was playing that for a little bit.
Okay, but no, I was playing. I had Madolche, competitive Madolce. Why the hell are we talking about this in Magic?
I don't know.
Hey,
Because Robert said he wanted
Because
Yu-Gi-Oh! to
if
be...
everything's broken, everything is fair.
No, that's not how it works.
Yeah.
You want games of Magic to be nice.
Balanced.
You don't want
no,
Vintage to be the game of Magic.
I'd rather have 0 bans in Modern.
I disagree heavily.
Splinter Twin did nothing wrong.
It did do nothing wrong.
Splinter did do nothing wrong. Like I said, we will get to that podcast one of the days, and I will have a good long hour.
I don't
rant.
know. You asked. You looked at me and asked the Highlander player. What's
Let's look
banned
at
in
the
Modern?
modern ban list right quick and see what cards don't probably need to be banned anymore.
Can we do that on another podcast?
How about now?
We're talking about bannings right now.
Okay,
to be honest.
sure.
Hey, actually, let's finish our little segment here.
Astrolabe.
Yeah, I'll be finished talking.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So they said that there's nothing wrong with the multicolor good stuff deck, and that's a problem because they want decks to be diverse. And Astrolabe was causing this problem that we were talking about. Everyone just jamming these 4-color good stuff decks, and then the field is less diverse. So they're
Do you feel like there's really big snow decks in Legacy too?
They
What-
did mention that they're keeping an eye on this card for Legacy.
Okay.
They said it's not too strong yet, but they're definitely keeping an eye.
My point was, what kind of specific things differentiate between Modern and Legacy that you feel like
Force
is
of Will.
primarily?
Primarily, it's Force of Will.
in Modern. It'll
We
be
have
fun.
Force of Will and we have Fast Mana in Legacy. So we have things like Chrome Mox. We have things like Mox Diamond.
Lotus
which
Petal.
You can play with Lotus Petal as well.
Okay.
Mana. So you have Fast Mana. So you have like these decks that can keep up that don't necessarily have the mid-range strategy, which are more of your counter spells and Force of Will and Daze and stuff like that.
Okay.
So Legacy is more of your efficiency. It's the most efficient decks you can be playing with. Vintage is the most broken decks you can be playing.
Fair enough.
There's a big misconception that Legacy is the end-all most powerful format, but it's not. It's actually one of the slowest formats. If you ever sit down and watch a game of Legacy, it usually takes a while, unless you're playing in Show and Tell and they go off turn 1. But
It's
I mean,
kind
I
of
just play
'cause
Burn, so it's.
if I
not
understand
really
correctly, it's because they banned a lot of the combo pieces that Vintage has, but they kept a lot of the counter magic and all the free interaction.
Yeah,
so you have a lot of interaction, which slows down the game, but the combo pieces aren't there to make it super duper fast.
right, yes. So a lot of your combo decks are things like Storm, there's Splinter Twin, I've got to stop distracting me.
The chip didn't pop up on the
Yeah.
screen, okay?
So, anyway, yeah. So we're definitely looking at this card as a potential problem for Legacy for similar reasons, they said. But it doesn't warrant action yet because the win rates aren't high enough. All right. So one more format that I think some things happened to it was Pauper. 2 cards got banned. Austin, you want to talk about the first card?
Good job.
Mystic Sanctuary. Pretty good card. Land.
Would you like to read the card?
Yes, I would like to, instead of doing it from memory.
Oh, you know he does. You play a lot on command.
Oh yeah. All right. So it's a land. It's an island. It says when a Mystic Sanctuary enters the battlefield, it enters tapped unless you control 3 or more other islands. And also, the important part, when it enters the battlefield untapped, you may put target instant or sorcery from your graveyard on top of your library. Pretty good.
Yeah. So the big problem with this card is I'm not entirely positive, but there's a lot of like degenerate combo things you can do with it, especially in Pauper. I'm pretty sure Ghostly Flicker is still legal in there, so you can do a lot of things with that. A lot of Flicker style loops and stuff like that. That's what they're saying. And there was just kind of like this. They want Pauper not to have a lot of like combo decks. They want it to be more of just a value format, which is fair. It's Pauper. It shouldn't be busted and broken. Especially when we saw the bannings of things like Get Probe, Daze, and Gush all getting banned. That we saw that they were trying to take it back from that power level. Which
So
is
your
good.
favorite cards.
Yeah, so that's the reason I played Pauper was because of those cards. Because I was playing Legacy Light. That's what they originally called it. But now it's less like that, so... It's not my favorite format anymore, but it's still a good format. The other big thing is they finally took a piece away from Tron and Pauper with Expedition Map getting banned. So that's been on the debate for a long, long time. What? Better?
Oh yeah, fantastic.
Cut that.
Don't cut that.
So Expedition Map get banned finally. It's been a long time coming. There's been a lot of debate about that card. Tron has been terrorizing Pauper since the days of old. I mean, any format that Tron can be in, it's pretty much terrorizing. So it's good to take a piece away from that to allow more decks to be out there. Also, it doesn't kill the Tron deck because you can still play with the Tron lands, so people are still kind of happy with that. It's just less consistent now. So that's kind of all the points I want to talk about for the ban things. So you said you want to talk about the ban list.
No, I want to talk about this one. This one right here.
We're promised proxies.
Yeah, we really want to talk about
Well,
Proxies. Another day.
okay, another day. Yeah,
All right. Darn, I had some good points.
I have a lot of good points too.
Ancient
But
Den
I
did
think
nothing wrong.
that should be another podcast as us talking about the ban list.
I
Because
feel like
there's-
that's the perfect
There's a
thing
lot to
put
talk
in
about,
one
and
podcast.
there's my
That's fair.
whole spiel on the legacy ban list. I mean, the vintage ban list and what it is now.
The vintage ban list.
Oh,
the
yeah.
one card on the vintage ban list.
No, there are cards on the vintage ban list.
Okay, yes. I guess Shahrazad.
There's Charizard, Chaos Orb,
Anti cards.
and all the anti and all the conspiracy cards. Yes, but specifically there are 4 cards on the ban list, which is Chaos Orb, Falling Star, Luris, and Charizard.
3 of those.
Break the game the way you.
3 of those fundamentally change the game. One of them breaks the game.
Yes.
One of them is just an angry doggo.
He's a cat.
He's a cat dog.
He's a cat nightmare.
No.
He's Lucifer's cat.
He's literally a cat. There's no dog in him.
Shut up.
Learn your creature types, man.
Okay.
All right, so there's a big topic y'all want to talk about now that I got my spiel about the ban list out of the way. So that will be y'all wanted to talk about proxies.
Yes.
Proxies is a big debate, and there's a lot of controversy, a lot of different things going on about it. So the first thing we want to clear up is when we talk about proxies, what do we exactly mean? Because there's proxies and then there's counterfeit cards, and there's a big difference between these two cards. Counterfeit cards are there to be sold.
Okay. Mason,
What
you
did
need
I
to stop
say?
getting distracted.
What did I say?
Mason, stop
No
getting distracted.
eating on the podcast.
Fuck you, I'm
This
hungry.
fucker's got cinnamon buns! Chandler's dying. Oh, I can smell him now. It's all over.
It's all ogre, my dude.
Y'all keep pulling out more food.
I don't even think we had this problem last time.
Well, yeah, because everyone ate before the podcast.
Poggers, you can have some.
Who's a good one?
My gosh.
Jesus. Okay. So
Mason, ignore when this happens and then just continue
I
talking.
can't because he's like flipping his arm all out the way.
It wasn't even. I made zero noise.
They actually made no noise. You were the one
Yeah,
who
you're
made
the
the
one that
first
made
noise.
And it wasn't even close to you.
Damn it.
My arm was way over here.
in my line of sight.
Cinnamon buns.
Okay, let's continue.
All right.
Oh, it's got guac on it now.
Oh, if you don't want to, I'll eat it.
Okay, you guys,
Okay.
stop.
Proxy, something y'all wanted to talk about.
Yeah, stop being sidetracked, Mason.
So anyway, counterfeit cards are cards that are printed to insinuate they are the real thing when they really are not. Counterfeit cards are very damaging. MTG Goldfish actually, not recently, a couple years back, I think, at this point, put out an article about fake cards and how damaging they are to the format of Magic itself. And I highly recommend anyone who hasn't read that article to read it. There's a lot of very good points that are brought up in there, and it's a very good article. So counterfeit cards are bad. Austin, you've actually had an experience with counterfeit cards. Do you want to talk about it?
No.
I don't know. It hurts. It hurts a lot.
You want me to tell the story?
PTSD.
All right.
PTSD.
Okay, so here's what happened. Austin was having a good time playing with his Magic cards, playing a game of Commander, doing his thing, and then he bought a very expensive card for very cheap, which was Jace the Mind Sculptor.
For a modern deck.
For a modern deck. And so he's playing with it, and he's having a good time, and he wiggles me over and goes, hey, look at this I just bought. And I look at it, and I look at it, and something seems a little bit off about it. So I can inspect it further, and I lean over to him and go, you know this is a fake card, right? And he goes,
Like that.
yeah, there was a couple. There was counterfeit cards are not easy to tell the difference, but they do have some signs. There's a couple tests you can do. That's all on the internet if you're curious.
I think that's a very bad statement to say. Some of them are really easy to tell.
Yes.
There's varying levels of counterfeiting.
Yes.
That's an important note. There are some cards that can look super real but are very much fake.
Yeah, but generally the blue test and the ink test are the best ones. So you test to see if there's a blue sheet of paper in between the card with a light, and then you can use a
Jeweler's lens?
Yeah, jeweler's lens.
Oh, you're talking about the pattern test, where you
Yes.
look at the pattern on the card.
Yeah, just make sure.
So, I think another way that's called is like the Lotus test, where you look at it to see, or is it the Rosetta? I don't know what it's
Rosetta.
called. It's the Rosetta test,
yeah.
where you take a jeweler's lens and you look very closely to see the print pattern on the card to see if the colors have layered properly.
Yeah.
Because it's very easy to tell if your black text has colors on it, it's not a real card.
Yeah. Okay, so Wizards, and then the newest way is the foil stamp is now on cards, which the reason they implemented that is to try to fight the counterfeits, which is why a lot of your stamped cards, the ones with the foil stamp on the bottom, are worth more than the original copies because it's much harder to counterfeit those cards. So you're guaranteed to be buying the actual card itself. So Force Will is a big example. I think it's like $40 more to buy the newer version of Force Will than the older. And then again, because it's very hard to fake that foil stamp. I have seen several attempts on it, and then either it's like a foil sticker on top. A lot of times the foil stamp has actually been upside down, which is very concerning. I don't know how they thought they'd pass with that, but...
I think they just tried to sell it to people that don't know the difference. That's
Yeah.
why.
Like GameStop. Like a Game Exchange.
Yeah, like other companies that pick up Magic cards but aren't really into it. Most of your local game stores are pretty good about spotting it. A lot of people are trained. But yeah, this is a big problem in the Magic community, and it needs to stop because it does create a lot of problems. But we're not talking about that really too much. What we're really here to talk about are proxies, which are cards that are known to be fake and are not they're not being played in place of Magic cards.
So you're saying fake cards are meant to deceive, and proxy cards are meant to test with,
Yes.
or substitute the real card.
the real card. You should always own the card if you intend to play with it. That is.
Well,
Okay, so that's
that's kind of
That
the
gets-
discussion we're going for.
Okay.
That's the
That's my stance.
What validates someone to have a proxy of a card that they want to play with?
well, first opinion, me and Mason just agreed to. If you own a card, you can proxy.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
If you own a card, you can proxy it.
Yes, you
What if
should.
you don't own a card?
If you have the intentions to get it,
What if you don't have the intentions to get it?
You just want to play.
shouldn't get it.
You just want to play with it.
You shouldn't play with it because that opens the rule of little Timmy, who's been playing for 3 months, all of a sudden have access to Time Twister.
Well, yeah.
And none of his friends aren't the wiser.
Well, then what's
Are
the-
you testing that card to see if you want to play with it more in the future, or you have no intention ever to get that card?
Well, personally, I don't have any intention of getting a time twister, but I'd love to proxy one and play one. But
just go online then.
But my point of view on proxies are, and the main reason why I don't proxy time twister is because I only proxy things that are within my budget.
Yeah.
If I don't own the card, then I don't have any intentions to get the card.
But you're
it's
not
just within my purchasable budget.
You're just
Like
not
name
gonna-
one that's
think-
in your budget.
Yeah,
Well,
no.
Intuition was the most recent one that I purchased, so I kind of have in my head, well, if I would buy an $80 card, then I can pretty much proxy any $80 card that I want.
Yeah, so you have the intention of buying it.
But I don't have the intention to buy those cards because I just don't really want them.
If it's in your budget, you have some point you have the intention of buying it.
No, just because something is at the same price as another thing doesn't mean I want that other thing.
Listen, he's a teamer player. He might not want to buy a Yawgmoth Swill.
Well, he
Joke's
did.
on you, I have one.
Yeah, I don't.
I mean, you do because you were building Opus Thief at one
Right.
point, and then you stopped.
Right.
And now you have a Yawgmoth Swill, but you
Yeah.
probably won't be playing with it much.
No, because I just don't play black that much.
I mean, if you want to trade it out, by all means.
No.
You're not giving this whole type player. What's wrong with you?
So my thing is proxies are a weird debate because you have situations like that come up, and I think in a casual environment where everyone is aware of the situation, it is okay, but only in a casual setting.
I feel like there's another point to using proxies. You can use them for testing your deck.
Yes.
So this is actually a very common thing I see around the shop. When players go to official events, they'll proxy up matchups of other decks so that they can test their deck against the other one and they have someone else sit down and play it.
Yeah, so what you do is because I've done this a lot in testing for competitive events, especially for Modern, is you will proxy up the top 10 meta decks, and you will play against those meta decks weeks in and weeks out. But you don't want to spend $8,000 on meta decks that you're not actually playing with. So what you do is you print out black and white cards on a printer, and then cut them up, put them in a deck, act like they're an actual deck to play against, in order to get you that experience against those decks, to get the repetitions against those decks, and actually for you to pilot those decks so you can get a better understanding of how to play the deck. And I think this is a 100% okay way of using proxies. I don't see anything wrong with doing this. You have no intention to ever play the deck actually. All you're doing is trying to get experience against the deck in a time crunch situation, which is
Sure, yeah.
a lot of pros do it, a lot of people do it, and I think it's one of the best uses I think there are for proxies. Is the testing purposes, especially if you want to get into, like, say, competitive commander, and you want to build a $3,000 deck. You don't want to
That's
just
pretty low.
$3,000 deck might not be even blue. You probably
Yeah.
are playing a non-blue deck at that point because
Like Dodo.
there's one card that just makes a $3,000 deck.
Yeah, but I'm saying you're getting into competitive commander, and you're setting yourself a new budget of
He means
$3,000.
high power.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay.
Competitive commander is definitely $6,000 at a minimum.
God, it hurts.
I mean,
It hurts
Flash
me.
used to be $2,000, which was
Flash is whatever.
That's
Are we gonna
why.
have an episode? We're not gonna mention Flash.
Flash counter.
Up the flash counter again.
never gonna stop.
Never gonna get.
But yeah, so and you're that's a lot of money to just throw away at a deck that you've never played before. So what a lot of people will do is they'll proxy the deck up first, get a couple reps in against some people to see if they like the way the deck plays, and then they'll go in and start buying the pieces for the deck. Because it's very hard to just warrant just dropping $3,000 on something you know nothing about.
So we have two uses that you think are okay for it. If
Yeah.
you own the card or could own the card to use it,
Right.
and if you are testing for events or
And I
something.
want to stress that all these are casual situations. None of this is competitive Magic.
Yeah, you
If you go to a tournament,
No one-
if you go to a tournament with a proxy card, you're gonna have a bad day.
It's just like, oh, they're all artist proofs in black and white, so fine, ignore it.
They're all altars. Don't
So that's an important
altars.
point. Whenever we talk about proxies, we never use them in official events.
Of course, never.
Now, playing Devil Advocate here. What if Wizards had their own legalized version of the proxies that were cheap for like your people who invested in OG duels? That were like
Can you
$500 or
can you stop giving
$600.
ideas for more money?
That's actually pretty.
That
good.
actually seems like a good idea, though.
Yeah, because
To be honest, if they had official proxies for duels, people wouldn't be risking their
Yeah, but you still have to.
$100 cards.
Yeah, and you still have to own the duels in order to play with the proxies.
But how do you explain that to a new player?
You don't. That's
It's
more,
an event.
It's definitely for a more experienced player.
Yeah.
Okay, but no, I'm saying a player who's played at the shop like 13 or 14 times, so they understand the game, they understand how Commander works, and you're sitting here playing with these cheap-looking dual lands,
Yeah.
and then they go to buy them, and then they start playing with them, and you have to tell them, no, you can't play with these.
Well, I mean,
Because
there
you
would
have to-
always be some sort of like very obvious indication that this is.
I still think there's going to be a level of confusion there.
Yeah, there's gonna be a little.
If they can't
Really?
read, then yes.
We can't have 2 ban lists for Commander. We obviously can't have a
Well,
proxy list.
well, that's not necessarily the case because Wizard of the Coast is printing these cards, so they can print only for use if you own the card in the box of the card. So it could be an OG duel and then has the text only for use with the actual card.
What if they buy the single? What if they buy the single TCG player?
do you mean?
What do you mean?
Oh, you just buy like the one dual land instead of
Yeah.
Then you just
It says it on the card.
yeah.
So you're saying if they
The
have 4
card
of these
itself
proxies,
says
one
it-
original.
Okay, here's the other thing that
Because
happens.
this box, that was my thing.
So now,
Okay.
now every time I go to a tournament and someone plays with one of these cards, I have to ask to inspect their binder for the card.
that or before
They would have to have them producible. They'd have
When
to
they
be
get
like
the deck
in
registered.
sleeves, like hard sleeves, right next to it.
Yeah.
That would be the case, but it would not. They wouldn't have to shuffle a hard sleeve deck in Vintage, a 60 hard quad sleeve deck.
I think at that point,
This is
it
also-
would be the judges or the
More-
event responsibility.
I'm assuming whenever you would register a deck, you'd be like,
Yeah.
I'm going to use these proxies. All right, well, if you're using this variation of cards, you'll just have to show that you own them.
Yeah.
And then you get like a
a special seal or whatever.
boom, bada bing, bada boom.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's to tell me I grab my buddy's dual land, show it off there, and then he uses his dual land for the tournament.
What's
and I
wrong
never
with
had
that?
one. I never had one to begin with. And we're both registering the same dual land.
Okay.
Isn't that cheating? Because I don't
How is
actually own
that
the
cheating?
card.
Well, then all of a sudden,
I don't own the card, but he does, and we're both playing in the tournament.
So?
that I can see
That-
because then all of a sudden, dual lands skyrocketed and nobody knows why.
Well, I'm just saying, like, so if you have these proxies, and so like you're saying, you show them
Yes.
off at registration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You show that you have them, and so then you take your cards back, and then you give the dual land to your buddy, who's it's his originally,
Okay.
and then he shows the same dual land.
Well, you obviously
Well,
put
then they
like a little sticker, a little sign.
No,
on
I
it.
wouldn't even go that far. You
Yeah.
just if a judge is like, all right, with random deck check to see if you have the right card, they'll be like, all right, well, you're saying you have a proxy for all these cards. Show us the originals.
And if they don't, well, look, you're
And
disqualified.
DQ'd.
That's,
but
that's way
there's
too much
thousands of people at
work.
events.
Yeah, that's way too much work.
It's the same as a random deck check. You just happen to have them or happen to don't have them. If you're registering cards like this,
Do they
you
do
have to be
random deck checks?
yes. Oh,
yeah.
yes.
Oh,
I-
You have to be prepared to just show the cards if you're proxying them.
okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they do random deck checks.
Yeah.
I got checked once and almost didn't pass because I almost forgot to decideboard.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
That kind of stuff. I mean, there'll be regulations upon regulations for implementing a policy like this, but
I don't want
you can't
to,
make them all up on the spot.
There is enough cheating in Magic the Gathering. I don't want to allow for more opportunities to show up.
I'm just saying for like these older formats where this is like you're investing a shit ton of money.
If you do this kind of shit for standard, I mean, that's just kind of silly.
yeah,
Because
Yeah.
you're not spending
Well, I don't.
$400 a card in
Vintage-
standard.
yeah,
Vintage is not really a paper format anymore.
yeah.
You don't see that many people running around playing Vintage in paper.
What about Legacy then?
Legacy, it's more, but it's not as common still.
The only paper format that's
Don't
rather
have to
expensive is
expensive.
Commander.
All right, cool. Commander then.
Which is not.
They don't do Commander
But-
tournaments at events.
Yeah. Wizards.
Unfortunately.
Today they do.
I
This
thought they
will
were
be
going to do it this
interesting.
year, but then COVID.
No,
They might have done it. Well,
They
hold
did
it.
the Magic
This is
Fest.
the year of Commander.
Yeah, they
This
could
would have
have.
been. the
They
year to
might
do
have
it.
done it this year,
Yeah.
They did introduce Magic
dang, this
Fest.
would have been my year.
But I
It could have
also.
been your year.
But I highly doubt it would have been competitive Commander. It would have been something silly like they've done in the past.
Oh, I hate
Because
that.
there's
With
no way
rules.
for them to.
They want it to stay casual. Wizards wants the format to stay casual.
Ooh, addendum to last week. That's why I don't want Wizards to take over the fucking format.
Well, there's a lot of reasons why I don't. I wish I would have been here for that conversation.
I'll make that shit only
So
casual.
my biggest complaint with Wizards owning or having control over Commander is the
Banning of high power.
No.
No?
I don't think they would do that.
Who's the people over it? The
Rules Committee?
The Rules Committee.
Yeah,
the
they-
Rules Committee actively play Commander.
Yeah.
They play the format. They know the format.
Sadly, only at the lowest casual level.
That's fine. They still play the format.
They actually have an understanding of the high.
Listen,
They have an understanding, but they don't play.
Some of them
CDH.
do play it occasionally. They don't play it regularly. Is the
Which is
problem that you have?
I feel like there needs to be at least one
Just
member
one.
who plays it
I would agree.
regularly at the high power level.
But when Wizards has control of it, how many people? Will,
0.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Gavin,
So-
he plays Commander.
Yeah.
Gavin's pretty cool.
That's what I'm saying. though.
Actually, Gavin does play competitive commander.
Yeah,
from time to
exactly.
time. I got a
But
game with
what
him.
I'm saying
It was
is
real fun.
that if Wizards had control over this, they wouldn't have
Not like he.
the oversight of the format or the knowledge of the format because they wouldn't be as invested in the format. They wouldn't be playing it as often. And that's my big problem with the Wizards having control over it. They stop looking at it as intensively as they should.
Okay, back to proxies. Are we all good on proxies?
I want to bring up so a big thing that, like y'all are saying, is like these the big problem or a big reason a lot of people want proxies to be usable is so they don't have to play with their high dollar cards, right? That is a big common thing that people want to have happen.
Yes.
And it probably would be nice, but I'm also on the other end of that spectrum where if I spend $1,000 on a Magic card, you bet your ass I'm shuffling it in my Magic deck.
Well, yeah, I mean, they're
That's
different.
just your
For
personal.
different,
This is
different
my
strokes for
personal
different
opinion.
folks.
That's just a scary thought, though, because if someone
Like doesn't know it's
like
$1,000 card.
like let's look at it this way. Every time I pull out the official way of rolling for a mana crypt, everyone just starts scooting their playmats away because a mana crypt requires you to flip a coin and call it.
You can roll.
So
a
when
dice
I
and
so
get
when
the
I
same effect.
so when I play it the official way, everyone's moving all their cards away because they don't want to get dents on the card.
I have plastic coins you can use.
Nah, but he likes his big boy $50.
Where you grab the biggest coin you
No,
can.
he has the
Au
biggest.
contraire.
card. I have not been able to find a full dollar to flip. That's why I flip a $50.
It's like, au contraire.
Specials orders it. And yes.
I want a $5 coin that's just like this big around.
All right.
So you want
What's gonna be like the $10 coin? You know, just a
It's
fucking.
just a dinner plate.
Yeah.
just yep.
All right. So do we want to move into powerful cards, how to deal with them, or do we want to move into jumpstart?
I thought we were trying to talk about.
Well, do we
Jumpstart
want
real
to talk
quick.
to come to a consensus? Because y'all seem to find
I pretty-
proxies.
Like I said, casual setting, fine, just not in a competitive setting.
So there's a split mindset, I feel like, for Commander in the competitive scene, though. Because some people, I personally don't care if you play with a proxy deck. Personally, I just want to see how good of a player you are rather than how much you can afford.
Well, again, that's your personal. You gotta communicate
Yeah.
with the other people.
So I don't play with the best cards for my deck, but if someone else were to go ahead and say, I'm playing with the tier 1 optimal blah deck for Commander, I don't care. I'm a fairly confident player, and I feel like I could beat them potentially.
Yeah. Yes, there is a whole argument there. I think with the whole like pay to win and things like that, because obviously the more you spend on your deck, the better it will become. That is a thing in Magic.
Oh yeah,
It's
100% pay to win.
See,
it's more likely to win. You don't pay just
Pay
win.
to win more.
If two
Yes.
people of equal skill levels go against each other, one person's playing a $10,000 deck, one person's playing a $50 deck,
and Commander.
then
specify that real
it's
quick.
very obviously who's going to win. If they are of equal skill level,
There is a much better chance. Yes.
it's I'm gonna say a good solid like
The
70-30.
thing about Magic is there's always a chance for you to win. no
Of
matter
course,
what.
yeah.
Your opponent could just sit there and draw lands all day long and lose. That is a thing that can happen.
Mason experienced this
Shut
several
up.
times.
or you
what-
could just
what
not
happened?
draw land.
That brings
Or you
up
could
an
not draw
interesting
lands,
thing that I
yes.
heard people
And
talk
no
about.
mana.
I don't know. It's been like a year or so.
What?
People wanted to do like separate their decks out into like you have a land deck and then a not land deck,
There's a format
and,
like that.
and you got to pick which one you drew from each turn.
Oh no, there's a format where you take an entire cube and you can play it sort of like that. So you have
Yeah.
the stacks of all the cube pieces and you have the stack of lands, and so you can pull from either a land of your choice or you could draw from the normal deck.
It's pretty interesting.
It's a really neat. It takes a lot of skill to play.
We
that
got to play
format.
Judge's Tower.
Yes, we do.
Fuck that. I'm gonna fuck up the first one.
Yeah, I play a land.
You get a list
I fucked
together.
up.
We'll proxy it up. We'll have a good night. We'll have a couple of drinks involved. And it'll get real fun.
Also, we gotta practice for
Okay.
fucking drafting
Instead of
Commander.
losing-
I
you
guess
just
we
take a
can
shot.
move on now. I just wanted to get that across because that's an important thing.
Of course.
There are people in Commander that absolutely don't care if you play with a proxy deck because they want to see how well you play rather than what your budget says you can play.
Very fair.
Okay. So you want to talk about Jumpstart next, and then we'll get
Yeah,
into
we can go through Jumpstart real
dealing
quick.
with powerful cards. Sure. Okay, so the first card I want to talk about, there's only like 4 cards I really want to mention from Jumpstart. The set has not been very It didn't add a lot of new stuff to Commander or other formats for that matter. I haven't really seen anything that's Legacy super playable yet, but time will tell. But the first card for Commander that's a big deal to me at least, it's also the most expensive card in the set at the date of recording, will be Allosaurus Shepherd. This is a 1 green for a 1/1 creature elf shaman. It's got several lines of text here. The first one is it cannot be countered. And then it says green spells you control cannot be countered.
Ooh, okay.
So that's very good. It protects itself and your spells.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Then you can also pay 4 in green until end of turn. Each elf creature you control has a base power and toughness of 5/5 and becomes a dinosaur in addition to its other types.
So you're telling me this card protects itself,
Yes.
protects all your other green spells,
Yes.
and is a win con.
And can be a win con. Yes.
Attack.
It's not as good as
Is it
Zerg.
legendary?
It is not legendary.
Okay, so I can't run as commander.
No, but you can run it in Yisan and tutor it out with a second.
You said this card isn't good in. You said you didn't see any legacy staples.
It could be.
Legacy elves?
Maybe. Yeah, it could see play in Legacy Elves.
Oh. Oh, good God, like 4 of.
That list is very tight.
I mean, true.
That list
but
is very tight.
you're saying Legacy is also a very grindy format with all the counter magic in the world.
I
You
can
start
definitely
dropping.
I can definitely
this?
see this in the sideboard.
Oh yeah,
I can
very heavily.
Definitely see this in the sideboard.
Very heavily.
But yeah,
It just seems bonkers.
the card is very nuts. There's a reason it's so expensive.
It has a 4 toughness.
It's
It's
a
a
1/1 for 1.
Oh, it's a 1/1, so it does die to bolt. That's fine.
Well, yeah.
Not if you have 6 mana.
Now, if you have 6 mana, this is true.
And you're
I mean,
playing
that
elves.
dies to the second bolt.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Or it just gets swords.
Also,
if you're playing 2 bolts, first off, you've lost commander.
no, there's more than one bolt. And shock. There you
So
go.
obviously, mono green decks are going to pick this card up heavily for Commander.
How expensive is this card right now?
It's around $60 right now
Why is it $60?
because it's highly playable.
Oh, is that the only reason why?
I mean, isn't that the only
You
reason
can't
cards
pull
are
it for
playable?
shit.
Well, it has
Also-
like 0 supply. All right.
Yeah.
The reason why it's so expensive is because it had 0 supply because of COVID and everything. They gave out the packs with. What was it when you bought
I'm
a box?
going to view this set as conspiracy. I'm going to view
you-
this set like conspiracy. So it will drop, yes.
I'm gonna say it's probably gonna be about a $20 card.
I think it'd be more. It's a mythic.
Well, yeah, in seeded packs.
But
It's really not that seeded.
it's for the elf one, so there are 3 other rares you can potentially get in this one.
Yeah. There's a chance you there's
So
a chance
it's the
you get
hardest one out of that pack. So you have to, first off, you have to get that pack out of the, 17 different packs you can get?
I think it's more than that, but you only get 24 inside the box,
Yes.
and you might get duplicates.
So it's
This is also a printed demand set.
right, which was conspiracy. That's why I'm saying I'm counting this like conspiracy.
And the packs aren't ridiculously expensive.
How much are those?
$7 a
$7.
piece is
And you get 2
what
decks.
our current our local
Yeah,
game
you
shop
get
is
like
selling.
one.
Okay.
Huh? I thought you got 2.
Unless you can buy 2 packs and get 2 decks.
Oh, there's 1 deck per pack.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, that's fine.
So it's very hard to pull the cards you want.
The pull rates suck.
Yeah,
know what?
pull rates are not good. Again, these are tracked cards. Wizards is specifically only putting 1 or 2 good packs per box.
Yuck.
Yeah.
Wasn't this whole set designed to be new player friendly?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Interesting.
New player friendly. Not
Interesting.
people looking for staples.
Hmm.
Which there are
I'm
a lot
sorry,
of cool
wait,
cards.
Staples. What they throw in there?
There's a Raider Hood or
There's that's one of the ones. you
Ristic
get in
Study?
that Same one.
Oh, Ristic
Sovala.
Zavala's in here. This is not a new
Well,
player
just got a
set.
reprint.
Reanimate. Rise from the
Wait,
dark realm.
Yes.
Shieldred.
Yeah,
This
there's
is
a lot
not
of
a new player friendly.
there's a lot of good reprints. You
I
should
don't know
check
why
out the
the fuck they
list.
did this.
The basic lands are the prettiest I've ever seen for
The
normal.
Phyrexian swamp is.
It's like $9 right now.
No, it's 20.
Is it?
It's 20.
Jeez.
It's so pretty.
All right. So another new card I want to talk about is Tiny Bones.
Tiny Bone's pretty dope. Pretty dope.
Tiny Bones is probably a commander deck I will eventually build one day just for fun.
Oh, so it's legendary.
Yes. You
I don't know what the card does.
You've never read
Really?
Tiny Here, read Tiny Bones.
Read it.
Sure.
Yeah,
He's
read
adorable.
He's great.
Apparently he also has a huge
Tiny Bones
dong.
Trinket. He's a 1 generic, 1 black, legendary creature. He's a zombie. My bad, not zombie. Skeleton rogue. Beginning of each end step, if an opponent discards a card in this turn, you draw a card and lose a life. 6 mana, each opponent has no cards in hand, loses 10 life. So you're basically just making everyone discard.
Yeah, it's
but
discard
it's a
tribal.
good payoff for discard.
Yeah.
What's the CMC again?
2.
Yeah,
It-
that's,
two.
that's what I
It's
thought.
also 1/2.
I was also thinking on this card, it might be a good addition to Opus Thief.
No.
That list is actually pretty hard to manage.
It's really like what would it replace? What? So first off, Opus Thief hates on all the creatures. Every creature, it's a hate. It runs Curse Totem.
Oh, yeah.
It's a creature hate deck. The
this is-
few creatures you run
now
are.
you're not bucked up.
I was just shower thoughts. They usually don't have a hand in Opus Thief. It
Did,
might be decent in that.
Oh,
Did
Opus
Opus
Thief-
Opus Thief ever try to integrate Mangara?
No, it didn't even integrate Riel.
Oh.
That's how tight the list is.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. I was
When you
just
discard, you
shower
draw,
thoughts. I didn't think into this too hard.
Yeah.
I haven't played a lot of Opus Thief.
So-
I haven't played against a lot of Opus Thief.
Okay, next.
So-
Okay. After Tiny.
So,
I want to talk about this card more.
so Tiny Bones
Wake me up when y'all are done.
is I feel like it's a decent card.
That's it. I was just thinking because like you wheel a lot and then you make a bunch of things off the wheels. A lot of treasures through Smothering Tide, and you can use the Smothering Tide treasures to activate him a bunch of times to kill people. Like it's a potential way to win. It's not the best.
So
way.
if they're
It's just
drawing
not-
cards to make treasures, then they don't not have a hand, which means that kind of doesn't.
I'm just saying. Eventually, you make a bunch of treasures, and then you could. It's not the greatest lineage. Obviously,
You didn't really think of
Mason.
this.
I didn't think
you
this
didn't think of
completely
this.
through.
Hey, mate, here's
completely
a shovel.
through.
Keep digging.
Yeah. So okay. So maybe not Opus Thief. Okay, but I don't think it's got a lot of competitive playability.
It could go in Yawgmoth.
Yeah, it's not terrible in Yawgmoth.
Yeah.
But that deck already doesn't really focus on discard.
Yeah, mostly focused on sacrifice.
Yeah.
I don't
sacrifice
know.
tribal. I mean,
Yeah.
there might be an interesting deck that just hasn't popped up yet.
Jen,
that
you think
could
this would
be
make a fun-
generally high power.
Come like casual deck, Tiny Bones.
Oh,
Yeah.
I
Oh,
mean,
definitely
no.
in casual.
I don't think you bring Tiny Bones to a regular casual.
I think it's a
no, it
high
can't be.
power.
I mean, yeah, you could, but that
To a rogue deck.
you bring it to like a high power table.
It's a high power card.
Normal casual decks just can't deal with that hard of a discard.
You were around with my Liliana discard deck in the very beginning.
Yeah.
That was a deck.
It wasn't that bad.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
If you wanted to play
It
a
wasn't bad,
mono-black
but it was
competitive deck,
kind
just
of
play Vito.
annoying because I didn't have decks that could deal
Yeah.
with
No,
it.
Vito
for
is
me,
just-
so.
It's really good.
No, Vito is a competitive commander.
Yeah.
There it is.
It's half a combo
It's
piece.
it's one card in the commands and it's a combo piece, and you're playing black,
You
which
have all
can
the-
tutor
for everything.
for everything else.
Yeah, no, it's so Chris built the deck and we were playing against him. I don't think we beat it.
No, I beat it once with goblins. That was it.
It was disgusting.
To be fair, he drew his Exquisite Blood every game.
But that's all he had to do. All he had to do was find Exquisite Blood and he wins.
Yeah,
How many games did he play though?
like 12.
I don't know.
And he drew Exquisite Blood every
No,
game.
one game a couple games he tutored, but
Still,
I'm just saying that, like,
Is the whole deck just drawing cards?
no.
no,
Y'all fuckers didn't cut.
Well, to be fair,
we did.
we did, but we also were playing Chandler's decks, so.
Well, I was playing my Krinko deck.
Yeah, your decks are generally group huggy or like casual, which is fine.
I don't play counters, and I don't put removal in.
I bet you this
Blood
deck would have
Pod.
done it. I don't play counters, but I do play stacks.
All right, so the next deck I want to talk about is the new Mount of Blue commander that a lot of people are hyped about.
Oh, what is
Chandler,
it?
you want to talk about it?
Yeah, because I'm putting this in Phoenix.
It's just
Oh, it's the mill.
Yeah.
it's just fucking the little blue guy that mills, but
Yeah, it's
grown
been-
up.
Yeah, you play him, and
I'm
then
a big
99%
kid
Because he's an advisor too, so you just like hurt dirt tap.
No.
Your deck's gone.
Oh, look, dramatic ice conceptor. Hurt it.
No, in the artwork, there's three guys. They merge into one.
They merge into one fat guy.
Okay, tell us what this card does exactly.
All right. I'm going to attempt to pronounce that name.
Bruvak the Delinquent.
Sure.
The
It's-
Grand Delinquent.
Oh,
Sure. It's a human advisor for 2 and a blue. If an opponent would mill one or more cards, they mill twice that many instead.
Cool. So there's this cool card called Traumatize.
Yeah.
Which mills half your deck rounded down or up?
Up.
Up.
So you're
You mill their whole deck.
plop.
Oh, look, I swing my fruit swaller. Oh, look, your deck's gone.
You just play this
Speaking of-
turn 3, ramp turn 4, turn 5, traumatized, no counter spell, somebody's dead.
Yeah.
Oh, and they try to counterspell. You just play force.
Actually, that could be very dangerous. I would not recommend doing that. Depending on your meta.
How could they win with no deck?
Memory's Journey. Oh, look, I put Thassa Oracle back.
You're not
Awesome.
playing this in a.
He's
You're
not
not
competitive.
playing this in a fucking
It
competitive.
doesn't
pod.
matter. People
You're not-
still play Thassa's Oracle in casual.
Well, then they're cancer.
Yeah, they
Yes, they are.
there-
Why you look at me?
I don't know. Did you have the Oracle in any of those?
What card? One time do I do that?
Give me a minute. I'm thinking.
Cancer.
People do play Thassa's Oracle in casual decks.
So Mill has always been a strategy and commander.
No one likes it.
Some people really enjoy it.
I love it to myself.
I had
Normal people don't like it. Hey, Robert.
Hey, Austin.
How are you?
So my
How's your
favorite.
flicker deck now that Astrolabe's gone?
It didn't run Astrolabe.
Hey, Robert, how's your flash deck?
Oh, yeah.
Flash is doing pretty good.
Counter.
When I was first going to my first local game store back in Baton Rouge, I had a guy that I'd play with, and he loved Mill. That was his deck of choice. But he was so fun to play with because he at the beginning of the game he'd pick somebody to win, and he'd mill out everyone else and then concede.
You know Griffin?
That's just,
You remember Griffin?
I don't know how I feel about that.
I remember our friend
It was
Griffin.
the funniest. As a new player, it was
Yeah,
the
yeah,
funniest.
I mean,
It was really funny because he'd like let me win sometimes, and I'm like, I didn't do anything, but okay.
You remember Griffin?
Yeah.
He did the exact same thing. He did the exact same fucking thing. It pisses me off every
Thank
time.
you.
I just hate it when people don't prioritize the right things to counter or remove.
Yes, we always kill Robert, and then after that.
You talk about this card.
No, I
All right. So
Did
next
you
up,
like this card, Zach?
I like it as a card, but I'm terrible at reading.
Okay.
next up on the list, we have Emil the Blessed, 2 white for a 4/4 legendary creature, unicorn.
Unicorn.
Come on, all right, everybody. So it has a couple of. It has 2 abilities. First one is for 3 generic. You know, they don't learn about putting only generic symbols.
Yeah, no, there's a problem. They haven't quite learned. We thought they learned with Kenrith, but then they just went back on that, and they're just like,
We thought they learned what theirs is, but no.
You mean Thrasios too? Oh, look, all of these cards. Oh, look, they're all good.
Well,
Okay,
yeah.
next. It
I don't even
has-
think you said what
How
it
much
did.
money you have time to record?
Did you even say what
No,
it did?
you didn't have a chance to. You
Yeah.
guys were all like, hurt there.
Hurt the nerve.
You looked over at me like you wanted me to
So
say
3
something.
generic,
So
colon,
much at this time of recording?
exile another target creature you control, then return it to the battlefield under its owner's control. Nice, repeatable flicker. Pretty good. Or is that blink?
Wait, so it doesn't tap?
Blink? No.
No.
It's blink, right?
No, that they didn't learn.
And then also has, whenever another creature, ETB, is under your control, you may pay Selesnya. It's either green or white. If you do, you put a +1/+1 counter on it. If it's a unicorn, you put 2 +1/+1 counters on it instead.
That second
So,
ability is...
You can ignore the second ability.
The
'cause
first
it's
ability is
pointless.
dumb.
But the first ability, oh boy.
So, you're saying if I had infinite mana, I can flicker Darkside Distortionist. I was playing it, that card in 99.
Why would you need to flicker Dockside Extortionist if
fair.
you have infinite mana?
So, like,
you
they
said
could-
if I have infinite mana.
Alright, if I have infinite mana.
If you have a Dockside Extortionist that makes at least 6 treasure tokens, you have infinite mana.
6?
You need
You only need
they
4.
don't cast it. That's right. 4. Oh my
You
God.
only need to make
Even
4.
better. It's a flicker.
That's the reason. This is better than Team or Sabretooth, because with Team or Sabretooth, you needed to net, I think it was 6.
Yes,
You need,
because
you need,
you need to cast it, and then
you
you
need
need
5 mana. You need net 5 mana.
You need to net
it's 2 to activate,
2 to activate,
2 to cast.
to the cast.
So you need 1 extra.
So you need to net 5.
Yeah.
With this, you need 4. This is a really good card.
Yeah.
Are there any cards that reduce the cost of activating abilities on creatures?
Oh,
Why,
like
yes,
Training
there
Grounds,
are.
Biomancer's Familiar.
But,
But I don't
So
think...
you can make it just one and go.
$40.
What?
Training grounds.
yeah.
Yeah, it went up.
It's already-
Huzzah! I'm
it's
glad I
been,
invested that earlier.
It doesn't surprise me.
It's been going up a
Please
lot.
reprint cards.
No.
So
They
I
have been,
can,
to be honest.
I
To
can
be
tell
fair.
Training
you.
ground never got a reprint.
Well,
not
Training
that one
Grounds.
No, it
specifically.
never did.
Not specifically, but
There's
they've been
so
a
many
lot better about it
cards.
lately.
Yes, they've been doing
So-
pretty good.
Oh,
But
yeah,
there's
'cause
still
people
some
get
cards
pissed off.
that-
Excluding Training Grounds, this card is really good for one of the weird fringe decks. Sisay the Weatherlight Captain. As long as you can get a Dockside Extortionist, however you do, any of the creature tutors, you can just tutor that with Sisay.
Oh,
Boober.
is it a green card or is it just white?
It's green white.
Green white.
Okay, so you can't have green suns for it. But you can sure as hell's Finale Devastation for it.
You don't need to even
Or
do
Quarter
that
Column.
tutor.
Yeah, or quarter
No,
color.
that tutor, you tutored that card with Sisay.
With Sisay.
That one specifically.
Sisay
So
tutors
you
for
just need to
legendary
figure,
creatures.
you just need to find Dockside
Yeah, by
Extortionist.
the way,
I was
this
thinking of the
creature
other
was
one.
originally printed to be the Unicorn Commander, but they made it too good.
They made it really good.
If it was tapped, it would have been fine and balanced.
No, it would have been shit.
Exactly, fine and balanced.
No one would have.
No one would
It
give
would
a second
never.
glance.
It would not. We would probably not be talking about it right now.
No, definitely not.
Nope.
What
Next.
else is on? Yeah, what's next?
That was the last
That was the last of the
occurrence.
cards I want to talk about.
Okay.
So there's not too much in Jumpstart that really excited me. Those are the only cards that are like, oh, these are really cool and really playable. Robert, you said you want to talk about dealing with powerful cards.
Yeah, powerful and problematic cards.
All right, take it away, Chief. This is all you.
Okay,
So I think what's gonna happen is you're gonna list some cards and we're gonna answer them how to deal with them.
So this is we're going back to
Maybe not specifically how to deal with them like card by card, but more like a
Can
gameplay.
we start by saying what do we mean by?
All right, so back in
Powerful.
Commander when people were saying like
So you're saying specifically in EDH?
yeah, in
Okay.
EDH.
Okay.
We're trying to
'Cause, like,
make the
we're
audience
just narrowing
You
understand.
it
could
down.
also do this in
understand
other formats if they were in the format and
Yeah.
there were problem cards. You just have to figure out how to.
Yeah. So back before Paradox Engine was banned, people were like, "Oh, it's a problematic card," but no one that I've ever played with ran removal for it, like ever.
What was the number again?
You obviously didn't play against Mom yet.
Huh?
What was that number again?
What number?
No,
Number of what?
292.
Yeah, there's apparently at the time it was banned, there was 292 artifact destruction spells.
Artifact specific destruction spells, not destroy all effects, not.
Yeah. Just destroy target artifact.
Right.
Since
So-
then, we've got an Assassin's Trophy.
We have-
293 at least.
There's a few more.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but people were just like, "Oh yeah, you could blow it up," but no one wanted to deal with it. They were just like, "Oh no, I don't want to do that," and all that crap.
Okay.
You know what? There's more
So
of that
big-
stops a paradox engine. Counter spells.
Yeah, counter spells.
So you're saying people need to just play more removal?
Yeah.
I agree with that.
More answers.
More
Yeah,
answers.
is that just the answer to this entire section then?
Oh,
Just play
probably.
removal?
Yeah.
So you're saying we should unban everything on the commander ban list
Yes.
because you just run answers.
Yep.
Do you have a better proposal? Because I've got
I
one.
disagree with
Yeah,
that
I
one
disagree too.
strongly.
I believe everything
So-
should be unbanned in all the formats.
So,
Well, then everything is just vintage.
So Black Lotus should be unbanned?
yeah, sure, why not?
Oh God! You what? All right. Okay, Robert, I was with you for a good bit there, but
Well, I'd rather have 0 bans than 300 bans. Okay?
I would rather
This is
there
not
be a
Yu-Gi-Oh!
more loose ban list,
Yu-Gi-Oh! actually
but definitely
has
not
bans,
zero
though.
ban lists.
I agree. I think there are still cards that deserve to be. There are super powerful cards in Magic that don't need to be.
I just want to play Sway of the Stars. I have a pretty foil one that's just sitting at home in a box. It's like, ooh, I can play this. No, you can't. Can't play that.
Yeah,
Same thing
well,
happened to
Paradox.
me.
Yeah, just play it in the Canadian Highlander. There you
In
go.
Canlander?
Yeah,
Why
Canlander.
the fuck would you play it in Canlander?
Why wouldn't you play it in
That would
Because
just
it's
go
a
right in
1v1
my.
format.
How much
Just a
does that card
1v1.
cost? What's the CMC of that
Like
card?
9?
Oh, that just go right in my drawer deck.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah, that'd be pretty dope.
And World Fire.
Oh god. Fine, unban Worldfire. Do it. Let's do it. Do it, pussies.
Just unban everything, and everything's broken, and
No.
everything's fine.
No, because you'll have. Because
No one
once
will
all
play
the
anything
Moxes are
but 5
unbanned,
color.
So this is actually the problem. The Moxes is actually a very good
Yeah.
point. It makes having more colors just immediately better.
You're a Wooberg fan.
I know.
Yeah, exactly.
Seriously.
He's the Wooberg fan. He's saying don't do it.
I know how busted it would be for me. I would run all 5.
you'd run all 5, and you'd have 5 more, or you'd have at least 4 more maxed 0 mana rocks than anyone else.
I wouldn't even need
I
to
am
run.
Black Lotus.
I'd be able to
I don't
run
run
5
Black Lotus,
less
yeah.
lands
Yep.
because
Yeah,
these 5
technically,
cards
yeah.
are just like land.
Yep.
They're better than lands. It's pretty bonkers.
I want to play. We should play a day where we have like no ban list casual.
Oh.
And just everyone play.
Why are you?
Black Lotus
Hold
and
it.
just for-
Hold it. No, I actually had an idea for this.
A casual
let
vintage.
me
Yeah.
tell you this. So
Sway of the Star.
this is actually an
Whatever you
idea
want.
for
Just go nuts.
instead of competitive commander, I came up with a superior commander, which is really just there's only one rule 0. So we know how we talked about rule 0 before. You can change any rules of the format.
It's a bullshit thing.
So
I so wish you were there yesterday. We would have been on the same table in that one. I hate Rule 0. It negates every change or everything they work
So,
for in the entire format.
that's why competitive commander looks at them and ignores rule 0. But I had an idea for a variant of commander which rule 0's the ban list and then all the other rules are followed.
So you
Just to see. It'd be called SCDH instead of CDH.
so you can play for Anthony.
Oh, God.
Technically.
Technically.
No, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good too.
Maybe you'd have to Rule 0 out still anti cards.
Yeah.
Rule
you
0
could-
out the standard cards that are always banned in every
You
format.
can say the vintage. It follows the vintage ban list.
Why do they just
No, because then Loris is gone.
No one's playing Lurrus and Commander anyway.
Especially CDH.
You can't really play in CDH.
You can't just say you can play the anti cards without the anti, because then you get to play that one black draw 8 cards fucking card. No, thank you.
Which card is that?
It's like sign from below, or it's like contract from below.
Yeah.
It's one black, you ante an extra card, and then you draw 7 cards.
Oh.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, okay.
No thanks, bud. Yeah, but you could, I mean, if you would just like a little tweak of just no anti cards, because conspiracies would probably be fine.
So vintage ban list?
No, because you can
Minus
still play
Lurrus.
conspiracies. None of those inherently break the game.
How
that
do
anti
you...
does.
So conspiracies can only be used in draft.
Right.
Because they always say when you draft. So
Not necessarily.
Yes.
they
All
all...
the conspiracy cards have to do with
when
something
you
with
draft
that.
this card.
When you draft
Yeah.
this card, it does something.
So you
choose a
can't
thing.
use the conspiracies because you can't draft them in a constructed format.
Vintage ban list minus Lurrus then.
There you go.
Yeah, counter from the left.
That's
Contact from
the
below.
so
Yeah.
that's the
Yeah.
Canadian
You can
Highlander.
read it across if you want.
Yeah.
So that's... I don't need to read
Oh,
it.
that's one in case you wanted to. Excuse me for being nice.
Fair enough. But yeah, no.
But you have
I
to
think
discuss
that would be an interesting test. I just know that
zero
that format
person.
would be dominated by Wooburg decks
Yes.
and 4-color decks.
Yes. That's what I envision as well.
And maybe 3-color decks. 3-color decks could probably edge a foot in, but
What
2 and
3-color
below.
commander specifically would be better than just running a 5-color?
Cass.
Cass. Yeah.
Oh,
That's the one I
Cass
was
is-
thinking of.
Yeah, Cass.
Zur.
Zur is also really good.
Zur can tutor shit.
Sir can.
You can tutor an enchantment. So basically, let's put the situation where someone failed to go off with their time bolt.
Mm-hmm.
You just swing with Zur, get your copy artifact. Now you have a time bolt. Oh look, you won.
Yeah, Time Vault needs to stay banned too.
No,
Yeah,
I said any card that's. It would be. It's a Highlander format.
I just Time Vault's.
Black
Hey, you
Lotus is
get
legal.
Prophet Proof Fix again, so.
Yeah, obviously there are some cards I think should come off the ban list. We'll talk about it another day.
But this was just an idea.
This is what the point. This is the point I'm trying to get at is.
Ancestral Recall.
So you're saying that a lot of cards can come off the ban list because we can just deal with them with answers.
Yes.
But at what point are you running a deck full of answers for the sake of keeping up that you're taking away from your actual deck? Do you think that it would ever be a problem?
Not really, no.
Next week, done.
I think it would. I think it's a problem that Modern has had in the past, and that's why they banned cards. Is because you're running so many cards in your main board and your sideboard to specifically cater to one deck that you're taking away from the deck's identity itself.
It definitely affects casual more than competitive because competitive does run a lot of answers. But when you start looking at it from a casual's perspective, they want to run the cool cards for their deck.
Mm-hmm.
They do need to run. You do need to run answers, even if you're playing casual, because
I
you need
agree.
to have a way to deal with things. But at some point, if your deck is all answers, at that point you feel like you're playing a competitive deck.
That reminds me of...
There
that-
are decks exactly like that. Rashmi was like that.
Ooh, yes.
4-color Curiosity.
Okay.
So there are decks in competitive which are just around controlling the whole board. So at that point, it feels like you're just playing a control deck, which is competitive.
Cantrip control with Kinwraith was pretty neat.
Yeah.
That reminds me of the little
But I'm
like,
saying-
the comic I saw where it has like 3 panels and the dude's holding like jank. I can fit this in here, and he's pulling out the lands.
That's a great image. But no, so what I'm saying is there are specific card combinations that can only be countered by specific cards, and in order to beat those combos, you need to play those cards, and that makes things a little bit stale. I think there's a difference between running the best cards and running cards that are specific for dealing with situations, and I think that's why certain cards are banned, and I think that's why certain cards should stay banned.
I agree. There are cards that should be banned.
Okay.
I think this would be.
I just thought the thought experiment of having a format in Commander with no banned cards.
You have something to say, Austin?
I did. I think this is a great segue into what we'll be talking about in our next week's episode.
Yes, which will be the ban list.
Yay.
It was so easy to make the list for next week. Discuss
Hey, let's edit.
all ban lists. I'll look right in an hour. Quick, I want to say that name. Austin. It's before an hour.
We have all that bit that was at the beginning that we're going to cut out of just static, so there's probably like...
Are you going to cut any of that out?
Probably.
Damn it.
So are there any
Cut
specific...
that out.
Are there any specific powerful cards you wanted to talk about besides Paradoxing?
Oh, okay. Let's see.
Since we didn't actually talk about any
Fair
cards,
Okay,
we
fair.
kind of got in the tangent of them as a whole rather than specific cards.
Paradox Engine. Glad it's gone.
Yeah.
It's bittersweet. It's bittersweet.
As an Azami player, I am very sad.
It's bittersweet.
Even me, who never played a Paradox Engine deck really much, doesn't really like the fact that it's gone.
Yeah. As soon as I bought one, it was in the mail. It got banned.
As soon as I got one,
I
it
never
got
got to play
banned.
with it.
So it's a very.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
I mean, it's never fun when a card gets banned. I will say that.
Its whole price was actually being driven by Commander, so it crashed hard.
And it's like $4.
Did you ever get the?
No, I think it's played in
$5.
Pioneer.
It's like $15.
Pioneer.
No, it's like $4.
Yeah. Pick up
I,
the playsets.
I
while
thought
you can.
someone said. It
Did
was
you ever
being
get
played
the
played in
Invocation
Modern.
one or whatever?
Nope,
Masterpiece.
not anymore.
In Dice Factory.
Nope.
Yeah, Dice Factory still plays them.
Oh, they really?
The playset.
That's the whole combo.
Did you ever get the
I
Masterpiece?
did.
Okay, do you know
After
Dice
getting
Factory?
the fake one.
Oh,
You
yeah.
just roll a bunch of dice.
No, that's not.
Dice Factory is great. I proxied it up. It was fun.
Okay,
Next
the foil
episode.
is like $15. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
Well, check the foil.
15.
It's like
Oh, the foils.
The Masterpiece is still 100.
no, it's like 30.
Masterpiece is 30.
Wait, what?
37.55.
The Masterpiece?
Yeah, that's
I know
what
I'm
looking
getting.
at
I'm
right now.
buying one.
Yep, same.
Cool.
Never gonna play with it, but
The,
I mean-
the cheapest you can buy currently is 41.
Still,
yeah, that's
that's
compared-
a cheap Masterpiece.
Yeah, compared to what it used to be.
I actually want the Klaus and Curio Masterpiece. That one's gorgeous.
Thank you.
Which one? The
Someone opened up one while I was here.
God damn it!
Okay, come on, spit it out.
Come on, you got this, bud.
You got this.
Got
Is it a Masterpiece?
Yeah, it's a masterpiece. It's 3 mana and it
Fence grid.
copies.
No.
It copies artifacts.
Sculpting Steel?
Sculpting steel.
Ooh, that
it's
one's
like
pretty.
it's like $30 too.
Ooh.
Well, I don't have money for like a month.
Those are
So wait,
those
is
are
that-
technically reserve list.
Sculpting steel.
No,
Oh, the Masterpiece.
arts.
Yes.
They're technically.
Which is why I tell people to invest in them.
I have
invested
an
in
invocation counterspell.
I invested in Noxious Gearhawk at $20. You want to see how much that is?
No.
I
No,
invested
no,
in
Mason.
Static
I
Void.
heard you have a.
Oh, yeah.
You have a.
Shut up!
Bought it for like.
What?
You have an omniscience.
Shut up!
Well, how much
Ooh.
is that?
Yeah, how much is that?
Shut
Oh
bad?
yeah, you didn't buy that before it shot up, did you?
I bought it after it shut up. Shut up. It's $37. The Noxious Gearhawk.
That's pretty good. Doubled your money. I like quintupled my money on my fucking
It was the first big card I bought at a
dog's will.
I quintupled my money on fucking Gil the Drake. Oh, not even quintuple, even more than that.
We're making a ton of money off of Mox Diamond right now, so we're
Yeah, fuck both of you.
Oh yeah,
I made-
Gaia's
I
Cradle.
was about to bring that up. That
Shut up
shit's
about
like.
Guy's Cradle. I don't want to talk
I
about
made a
Guy's
ton
Cradle.
of money on
$200.
Impact.
I don't want to talk about
Oh, yeah.
Guy's Cradle.
As soon as
Oh look, you made a shit ton of money off Wheel of Fortune. So
Fuck yeah, I did.
Oh yeah.
I'm the only one suffering.
Buy
shit!
Sure.
I can't.
You bought Intuition, you already made about 50% back. so-
Yeah.
How much are intuitions now? I
Almost
bought-
90.
Oh, I made like about bottom when they're like 70. So
Okay.
20 bucks.
Wait another week.
Yeah, probably.
They're gone up so
wait,
fast.
you know that
20
next
bucks
month
in a
I'm
week.
Yeah, so we're talking about this
70
right
bucks
now.
is 100
If
right
all
now.
of our followers went and bought an Intuition, it's going to go up.
Oh yeah, it kind of like happened with Reap when the Commander's Quarters guy.
Yeah.
Or wait for
Dumb.
All right. Was anything else that you guys wanted to?
We
wrap
were
it
going
up.
to talk about your answers, but you've given us no problem cards.
You keep distracting us with
No,
thoughts
he-
of masterpiece
Give
cards.
us
Did that, he was the one
problem
talking about
cards.
masterpieces.
All right,
Next time.
Paradox Engine
Problem
Thanks.
cards.
Urza.
is not a problem. Okay, next.
So Urza's not the problem. It's Stacks cards. That's the
Stacks
problem.
cards. Fuck Stacks. Next.
People just hate Stacks cards.
How do you
love
deal with
playing
it? Don't
Stacks.
play with that player.
Oh, well, you all still play with me.
You don't play sex so much.
Yeah, you don't play it anymore.
Oh yeah, you know
You want
why?
to know why?
Why? Why, Robert?
You
Oh.
learned your lesson.
So
Come on.
this bitch, Mason over here.
I was-
My God.
I was playing a very casual deck at this point, by the way, too. But
So I forget the card's name, but it makes it so you only cast one card.
Oh, Rule of Law?
Yeah.
I
it
don't
wasn't
want-
Rule of Law. No,
it was just enchant clear.
Curse of Exhaustion. I cursed him.
So if I ever activate Urza
It's not in there.
and I can cast it off the top,
That's
that's
it.
fine. But he also had a card out called
Possibility
Ability
Storm.
Storm.
One of my. That's another pet card. that's
So
going on my
whatever
list.
I cast on my
asshole.
hand,
That's a
it was just
really-
winning my deck, and I never got
You're
to see
an
the other one.
asshole.
What? I only did it to him to show
Oh,
him.
then
how-
Chance copied it on
then-
Roy and you.
Yeah, then Chance fucked us all up.
Well, that's what happens.
I was like, I fucked up.
Yeah, you did. Fuck you.
I was playing a casual Zedru deck that has 0 win cons. It
Wait,
just fucks
you're
over-
playing Zedru?
Yeah.
Dang.
It was just fucking over people. That's all the deck does. And so I saw the line and was like, oh, Robert's gonna hate this.
Bonk.
Too bad you can't play deflecting SWAT
All right,
because then you're gonna
next,
change the target
next.
of.
Oh, okay.
He can. First spot's red.
Oh,
What's next?
Too bad you didn't have
Oh,
deflecting
God.
SWAT.
God. So we talked about stacks pieces,
Paradox engine.
paradox engine. Flash is gone, so don't have to worry about that anymore.
Good.
It sounds like there's no problem cards.
Look,
Someone didn't make a list
I was in the
You
middle of
check
it
it
when y'all
twice.
called me.
or check it twice.
I did not check it twice. I gave you that.
He's been naughty. We've been nice.
No, fuck you guys. You haven't been nice to me like all fucking year.
I love you, Robert.
Shut up. You know you don't.
Oh, you got me there.
So yeah, but it basically just goes down to run fucking more removal.
Yeah, pretty much.
Run removal.
Yeah, run removal.
Ah, cool.
Like any, like not just one, just like a few. God.
What if I'm playing red?
You could run artifact removal in red. You could run burn removal.
Okay,
in
but
red.
what if I need to remove entrapments?
Yeah.
Chaos one.
Chaos. You have your
I got
one.
one.
That's
Alright,
it.
That's it. That's red.
Then
It
how do I remove
depends.
removal?
Everybody
It
gets one.
depends on what the
Everybody gets
enchantment is.
Yeah, if it's enchantment creature, you can blow it up. With
If
removal.
your enchantment is blue, then
Oh,
you
yeah,
have
Pirate
3 more
Blast.
removals.
You destroy lands pretty easy.
fuck over the land
Hold
base, they
it.
can't do shit.
Instead of removing
So
the
maybe
enchantment,
adding more removal isn't always the answer.
instead of removing the enchant,
probably
remove
take the
their
green
land
player to
base.
remove
Then they can't do anything else.
When in doubt, fuck them.
Ruination. Again.
Yeah, exploration plus life and limit and strip mine. Just keep
In
stripping.
red?
I'd say mono black's also a color that doesn't deal with artifacts or enchantments really well.
You just gotta combo off before they win.
Yeah.
You are the problem player at
Yes.
that point.
Yes, you
You're
are.
playing mono black, you are the problem
And if you're
player.
the blue player, you're just gonna sit there and be like, no one's gonna have fun today.
Didn't you play mono blue?
Yeah, I do, and I like it.
In
Mono
with the
white's
stacks?
Yep.
kinda silly.
And I didn't get affected by them until Urza got turned off.
It's getting
Mono
better.
mono blue dies to mono green.
Veil.
Is there anything else to talk about? Or is that...
Shut up.
No.
No,
No, I'm talking about joke.
Choke.
You think you
Boil.
have answers?
Yeah.
No.
Choke, boil, back to basics.
Red and green just hate blue. Very much.
That's why you play them together.
And black just hates everyone equally.
Ruick Thar.
And you want to cast that cantrip and take 6 damage?
That was one of my favorite commander decks. back
You want
in
to
the
stifle it?
gap.
Take 6 more.
Primal Surge.
Partner commanders.
Stop.
That's another day.
That's another day we need
My
to talk
favorite
about.
is equipping. What is it?
Graph that exoskeleton.
No, no,
to
no.
Rorik Thar.
No, the collar, Basilisk collar
No.
to Ruick Thar. So you can sit there and play your instants and sorceries all day long,
Oh yeah, 'cause nothing happens.
and then everyone else just gets domed and you gain life.
Anyway, I think we went on a tangent, and that's all I really want to talk about. Just run goddamn removal.
Oh, there is actually a reason. There's a reasonable way to deal with Urza. You just punch him in the face until he's dead.
I mean,
Wait,
as long as
My
it's
dog
not-
does that a lot.
Wait.
That's
the
how
creature or the player?
Yes.
the player playing Urza. You just
Physically
punch
take
him.
the card and beat the fuck out of the card.
Just start smacking Urza. No, you
Tear it
hit
in
the
half.
player.
You can't play with
That's
it. Broken.
so that's
Not a
actually
real
a
card.
very fair.
Stupid.
But there's the
Every-
blue strip. Oh, too bad.
Every time
Don't
Robert
go
started
with
playing
cards.
Urza,
Please put him
the
in
best
this.
way to deal with
Oh,
people
wait.
that play Urza stacks is just to punch them until they're dead.
Unless.
What can't you, what-
Player removal is the best answer.
It is the best answer. Which also could have gone earlier tonight, but didn't.
So know your outs. That's what
Yeah.
we're getting to.
Just
Is know your outs.
I won that game. What are you talking about?
yeah, but you almost couldn't have if you had Veil somewhere.
There's something else to talk about, is there?
No.
Not for this episode.
Not for this episode.
No.
Unless Austin wants to talk about something that he wanted to talk about a long time ago.
No, I think we're done.
No.
No. Okay.
This seems like a perfect stopping point.
All right, cool.
Cool.
Well,
Bye.
no,
No.
bad.
No. Fuck you. He
Outro.
didn't have to make the shanty yet.
Outro.
Oh, wait, point at me. We got them to make the shanty.
What?
What? No. You said you were gonna make one.
No.
Yeah,
we-
you did.
they-
First podcast.
No.
All right.
We tell them to make
Oh.
the shanty.
Oh.
Thanks for listening to our podcast. We are the Degenerates. I'm Mason.
I'm more.
Mauston.
Zach is here.
And I'm Chandler. I'm waiting for Mason to see if he's going to say it.
Remember to like and subscribe.
Fuck you, bitch!
Cancer.
I was
Look, the blips.
Yes, I am free.